Panthers, Bulldogs, you weren't with us Friday morning.
Yep.
The game was next level outstanding.
Yep.
Couldn't
look away.
Panthers
look
now
away.
completely back, or is there still great game? Is there still a lesser Penrith on show to previous years because of their attack? Is it not quite
I think
there?
the Dogs was.
I
think both sides score 20+ points against
anyone.
Well,
most
against most.
Okay.
Yeah. I think. Well, after the 3 wins against the Eels, Tigers, and Warriors, to do it without, and I said, well, if they can win 4, well, you'd be game not to say they're back. So you'd have to say that was their best performance, because what I learned out of that game as well was just how good a side the Dogs are.
Okay, you've got that, but I'm going to pressure you right now, and I want you to take any Panthers apparel off. Keep your pants on.
Right.
But analyst cap on. Is the form we've seen there of Penrith in winning that, is that good enough to win a 5th title, or do they need to get even better than that? But would that be suffice to win them a 5th premiership if they're there when the whips are cracking right at the pointy end?
It's hard to say, Vossy.
I'm going to say the attack still got work.
Okay.
I don't think it's quite.
So there's a
without
couple
Luai there, Blaze Talangi, and
a couple of notches
others.
to improve.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think in attack, I think that, but this competition is there for the taking.
Yeah, it is,
and I wouldn't want to run into Penrith in the finals.
That sort of form will get them. They'll play deep into the finals if they've got to get there first.
Yep.
They're still sitting on 19 points.
Another bye this week. So you got your last bye this week.
Their third bye comes up this week. That's right.
So they'll get 21 points.
Yep. Tracy, Carraz, Kickow, Preston, outstanding.
Oh, yeah, so
outstanding.
good. So good. You could have given 10 players votes in the Dally M's, at least 10 players.
The battle between Stephen Crichton and Casey McLean was worth watching just on its own.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Okay, now let's get to Friday night. And we go from the penthouse to the Seagulls Tigers have a hell of a lot of work to do they not?
They do. It was a pretty ordinary. Well, the first 36 minutes or 39 minutes were torture.
Yeah, try in the last seconds of the first.
It was very disappointing. Especially for Manly fans, I thought. I expected more from them with, with basically as full a lineup as they can field.
Yes.
They got some Olakau'atu. They need to get him back very quickly. Now he's not due back until round 21, round 22.
Yeah. Not the same, is it, Waddell on the edge as opposed to
it's
Olakau'atu?
No. Lockie Croker missed the game through concussion. I hope he's all right. I hope it's not an extended period out for Lockie Croker.
Jazz Tavunga is as honest a player as you'll get, but he doesn't excite as in terms of running and giving them speed. They bring Simpkin on, and he's hit or miss. He has good weeks. He has weeks where
Jake Simpkin played all right.
Yeah, I know.
I thought he played all right.
Yeah, but that's the thing with Jake Simpkin. He's a bit like Talon De Silva. So 1 week, there's a few weeks back there where he does 9 dummy half runs, comes on. The next week he does 0.
Yeah.
He does fluctuate between looking potent and then you don't notice him at all.
Yeah. Anyway, so Manly won. Manly had to win after their losses to the Titans and Newcastle in the lead up to that game. They had to win, which they did. So they got the 2 points, but that's all you can say about it, really.
Let's hear from the Tigers coach, Benji Marshall. Now, at one stage this season, they're 5-4. Now you look at the record; they're on the slide. They are 5-10.
Yeah.
So it's 6 straight losses. This is Benji Marshall after the recent loss.
Oh, it's a bit disappointing. Obviously, we're left in a bit of a scramble with Jerome pulling out this morning, and I just thought we didn't have enough experience in those positions today to get it done. We got dominated in field position. They scored, I think, 4 tries on last play. We piggybacked them out of their half. I thought the last few weeks have been really good. Today was, I reckon, a step backwards.
So they got the bye to reflect. No, they don't. They've got to play the Roosters. Sorry,
no, they play the Roosters.
They play the Roosters this week. So Appy out, failed HIA, so he's automatically out.
Yep, Jeremy Buller's still out.
Luai on origin duty.
Yeah, so out.
Buller injured. Heath Mason now suspended. I don't know whether they're going to challenge if they do. But he gets, with an early plea, he's out for a week for the contact on the referee.
Yep.
So you're talking spine positions, absolutely lottery this week for the Tigers. And let Talon De Silva go. So 2 hookers, 2 fullbacks, and a 5'8" all out.
Not available.
And Latu Fainu, first chance in starting side, failed the test.
Yeah, he did.
He's not. He's at this point in his career, he's not 80 minutes, and he's certainly not a 7.
No.
To run the team.
No, I agree.
So what do they do?
I agree. While he's
Adam
a busy
Dewey,
player.
Adam Dewey came into halfback.
Uh-huh.
Now has to be picked. He did his little audition.
Yeah.
They look better with him, but they're going to cover for him somewhere. I don't know what the Tigers do this week. I don't know where they're at.
No.
I don't want to talk wooden spoon.
No.
But there were signs of wooden spoon in that performance the other night.
Well, there were signs. Have the Tigers improved as a side from last year?
It's tough.
Without Luai, though, it's they missed him. Raiders and Newcastle Friday night, the second Friday night game. It was set up by a first half performance where the Raiders were just way too good for Newcastle. They ran harder. They offloaded the ball. They played some great footy in that opening half. Weeks, Sasangi. What about Sasangi? Well, Simi Sasangi.
He playing out of his skin.
Out of his skin.
He's the Shibasaki of the
Zach
Canberra.
Hosking, Matt Timoko, Corey Horsburgh, all outstanding.
Ethan Strange. Ethan Strange, I know Katoa's getting a lot of headlines at the moment of the Dolphins. I'll still say it again. But I could have Ethan Strange in Origin in a heartbeat. I could pick him easily. Like he's such a tough player, but he's now support player. He's improving rapidly. He's one of the reasons Canberra are at top of the table. Ethan Strange has stepped up now to be a bloody good number 6.
Yep, he has. He has. In the end, it was only a 4-point win. Newcastle getting some ball in the second half and able to get across the line to make it close for the last 5 minutes. But Canberra were very good in the first half. That's where they won the game.
And Ponga Lisfranc injury, the bad news for the Knights. We move on to Saturday. Broncos Warriors in front of 41,000 fans. Now, Brisbane set it up again in the first half. Shibasaki try right on half-time, gave them 16-point advantage, 18-point advantage. Luke Metcalf injured for the Warriors. So it really is a tale of, it's great news, Brisbane. It is really bad news, Warriors.
Brisbane now 3 in a row, Andrew, and the side just starting to show signs of what we thought they could do, and that's play some consistent footy. Not brilliant, but consistent. They sit 5th on the table. Ben Hunt still to come back into that lineup.
The Warriors hang on to top 4 spot?
Don't know.
If Metcalf's out, and it looks like he is, ACL, they're suspecting, poor bloke, who's had no run right through his career.
Tamari Martin is a good replacement, but he's not Metcalf. Metcalf's had a pretty big influence and impact on the side. Chance Nickel-Klukstar also with a knee injury that might see him spend an extended time out. Leotoa's out with ankle surgery. Dallin Watene-Zelezniak out with ankle injury. Mitch Barnett not there, so the Warriors under a bit of pressure. Yes, they're 4 points clear of the Broncos, but I'm not sure they're run home. But they would, they got their work cut out to stay in the top 4.
Alrighty, now we move on to the Dragons and the Eels. Absolute heart-stopping game. I know it shows 14 points in the end, but it's in the balance right up until the death.
Till Zach Lomax threw the pass and Val Holmes picked it up.
Amazing. Yeah. It really was a fantastic game. But in the first half, now we had the texter on, and we had a few people about Josh Addo-Carr one. Now I'm not burning a touch. There's no way to the naked eye.
You can't
pick
tell.
it up, but they have to make a call.
Yeah, but okay. So
yes,
they
the flag down or put the flag up.
Well, that's right. They have to make a call. So how do we not have the ability to challenge that when we can challenge the referee on any time there's a stoppage and the referee makes a decision? You can challenge that.
Yeah.
Give or take a couple of areas where you're not allowed to challenge for. But in that instance, if the touch judge makes a call, why? And you're right.
Yeah.
Like, to the naked eye, how can he tell?
Oh,
it's impossible. Why can't you challenge that as a team?
So
hang on.
Okay.
We think he. We don't think he put a touch.
You're putting that point there about the machinations.
The machinations.
Now you go through to the replay. Are you going to say he was in or out? Because I don't know.
No, I don't know.
I can't say he.
Well, I only saw one angle.
Yeah.
I'd have to see a couple of angles.
But his foot was at the angle. You've got to believe, and I'm talking a millimetre. I'm talking part of his heel must have been on a blade of grass of the sideline.
Most of me thinks that his foot touched the line.
Yes.
Most of me, but I can't be 100% sure.
Only a little bit of his heel on a little bit of the line, and that's all it was. Jason Riles Parramatta coach had his say about it after the game.
Well, the reality was we were a blade of grass away from blowing them away at the end. So, but that's footy. And again, had we approached the first half better, then we, wouldn't have had to rely on that. So, or had Josh scored it, we're probably talking about how good the fight back is. So,
what do you make of that call? Josh had a goal.
Oh, mate, there's tenths of millimetres in it. They've got a hard enough job as it is. They don't need me adding to it.
I am standing and applauding to Jason Riles. You've a tenth of a millimetre. That is right. That is right. Jason Riles, well handled. Mm-hmm. Your side lost it in the first half. They shouldn't have been chasing that many points.
26-4.
I say Jason Riles, rookie coach, beautifully handled. Well done, mate.
I think he's handled a lot of questions around the side and how they've played and some of the positions and players that they've been chasing. Or I think he's handled it all pretty well. I
would say this. Adokar scores here, they win the game. My opinion. That makes it 26-all. They're going to win, okay?
Yeah.
But Riles is making his own players, rather than saying, touchdown, you cost us the game. No, accountability. He wants his team to be better, and they control how the game goes. In the first half, it got out of their control.
Yeah, so we're not. I'm not being critical of the touch judge at all. The touch judge has to make a call, and it's a very difficult one. And in hindsight, he probably got it right.
I feel right,
but I still don't think I don't think. Just because it's a touch judge, he makes a decision, you can't disagree with it as a team when you can challenge the referee.
Dolphins, Rabbitohs. Now, we played this earlier in the day. Now, Wayne Bennett, is this smother areas or is there obliged to be more heat on Wayne Bennett, the most experienced coach in rugby league? The Rabbitohs are sitting second last on the ladder.
We don't have enough confidence in ourselves. That's our biggest challenge. It's a bit of a battle. It'll go into a bit of a journey and... I'm up for it. I know what it is. I just got to get on top of their mindsets about. There hasn't been a half that we haven't played that we haven't won in every game we've played. Okay, we won a half, but we haven't won a game in the last 5 weeks now, and they just don't believe enough.
Yeah. So just on that stat, just to elaborate. So what are you saying now? The way you said it there is that every game this year. I don't know whether someone wants to fact check it for us. Every game this year, Souths have won one of the halves on the scoreboard. But certainly he's highlighting in the last month or so, they've won a half. And again, it was the other night. But it's pretty hollow when the opposition score 50, isn't it? Is that clutching at straws? I am asking the question respectfully. Mm-hmm. If you're quoting, we're winning a half every week.
You know what the second half score was?
Yeah, they won it.
22-20.
Yeah, they won 22-20 on the scoreboard. But watching it live, did you feel Souths were... No. As good as the Dolphins in the second half?
No, probably not.
Probably not.
No. They got themselves, they scored a couple of tries.
Could Wayne Bennett win a spoon this year?
I don't think they will. No. I don't think South will get the spoon. One bye. Still got 2 buys up their sleeves. They don't get a bye this week either. So they take on Manly with State of Origin players not there. But I don't think South will win the spoon, no. Okay. I still think the Titans are red hot.
Isn't that crazy? More than a handful of sides will have had their 3 buys, and South still have 2 up their sleeve. So there you go. And on the Dolphins,
Raiders are the same.
Dolphins, are you seeing more and more? You watch the Dolphins and the efforts of Katoa and co. Are you seeing a genuine contender? Or not?
Yes.
Short of that yet?
No, well, a genuine top 8 team.
Yep.
I don't know if they can win that. They've got like an injury toll that's quite
unbelievable.
Long.
Unbelievable that they've done what they have.
The tough blokes in their side. Ray Stone is a marvel. Ray Stone is I love Ray Stone.
Yep.
And he's
Kurt
tough.
Donahue.
Kurt Donahue is playing so good. He's playing so good. He might have to fill the 5'8" spot. He grew up playing in the halves, but he might have to play in the halves.
Last
for the
2
next
games
few
in our
weeks.
round and review. Storm Sharks yesterday. Craig Fitzgibbon's is doing it tough because the Sharks now incredibly have dropped down to 10th and they're conceding a lot of points. Now, this was his appraisal of yesterday.
Yeah, that's what hurts. Again, the scoreline looks like we just got dusted pretty hard. You can't hide from that, and we won't, but the things leading up to that I saw when nothing was going our way, and we know we're not playing great, but we wanted to see some spirit, and I don't want to sit here and applaud that sort of scoreline, but it was far better than what we dished up last week.
Second half shutout. You know how much of a shutout it was, Andrew? the Sharks played the ball 8 times inside Melbourne's territory.
Unbelievable.
8.
Yeah, wow.
Not once
the 20,
in the 20.
You're talking the half.
In the half. Only 8 play the balls the other side of halfway. So Melbourne completely dominated the game, possession-wise, field position. They scored 3 tries in the second half. Look, I thought the Sharks' performance in the opening 40 was pretty good. There was a lot of intent there. But when they got down and they had a lot of tackles inside the 20 in the first half, there was no plan B.
No.
They were flat.
That is a problem.
They were flat. They gave themselves no depth, hence the tap on by and the desperate play by Nico Hines, which Suafalongo intercepted and ran 90 metres.
Okay.
They weren't doing
I'm going to give you 10 seconds to wrap up the Titans-Cowboys, and that's all you might need. A lot of work to do. Sum it up, Titans-Cowboys.
Drinkwater was really good.
Okay.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
They've got a lot of work to do, Titans and Cowboys. That is our round in review.
You know, Michael, doctors say a proper breakfast includes eggs, bacon and breakfast with Vossy and Brandy. So get your daily fix through our socials and listen live on SEN Radio.